history ever. And we are just continuing to capitalize on our energy, and Emerge Alabama is part of that. I'm a part of the inaugural Emerge Alabama class. I'm very proud of that. There are 26 women in that cohort. And out of that 26 women, I'm pretty certain that there are 19 of us are running for a public office, which is incredible. And another number I'd like to share with your listeners is that Democrats are candidates running for office in 80 different seats across the state. That is in and of itself very important for Alabama. What I think is even more important is that almost 50% of the Democrats seeking state offices are women. And that is enormously powerful when you look at the makeup of the state legislatures. And in fact, the last number that I saw, now it may have changed a little bit because there's been, I think, one or two people that have moved around or left or something. But the last number I saw was that the legislators in Alabama and Montgomery, 86% are white and 86% are male. Yet, women make up 52% of Alabama. We are not represented fairly, and I am just thrilled that we have these resources like Emerge Alabama that's helping us understand how this works. We're educating ourselves. We're spending over 70 hours training to make sure that we're doing this to the best of our ability and that we understand how the system works. Many of us who are running are running for the first time, and we're looking at this as not only a challenge, but a worthy goal, and that is to get into office and actually make these offices work for the people of Alabama. Because we are women, we are raising our children, we are taking care of our aging parents, we are working full time, we are doing chores, we are running the coupons in our homes, we're grocery shopping, we are running our Sunday schools, and now it's time for us to move into office and start making sound decisions for not only ourselves, but everyone in Alabama. And I think that Emerge Alabama is educating us, giving us the tools that we need to be these strong leaders of tomorrow. So it's very exciting.
Yes, it is exciting. Great. Is there anything else that you would like to make sure that listeners know either about you or about Alabama?
Well, I think that I want your listeners to know that, number one, Alabama is beautiful. It really is. And what we're finding this year in the midterms is that we have a slate of candidates that truly represent what Alabama looks like and what Alabama is. I invite your listeners to come to Alabama. We've got one of the most diverse ecosystems in the entire continental United States. Our cities are full of wonderful culinary experts. We have the people here are just the kindest, nicest people you could ever meet. And I hope that that is the takeaway, not only from this podcast, but from people learning about what Alabama is and what's going on in Alabama. We can make a difference. And I encourage, lastly, everyone listening to vote. Make sure you're registered to vote wherever you are, and make sure your friends and family are registered to vote. Encourage them to register to vote if they're not already, and have discourse and dialogue, because if our voices are not represented at the polls, then we are not represented in powerful positions. And so it's up to us to hire the future of our government. Our vote is what we have. It's the fundamental basis of society, of our democracy. So get out and vote and come visit Alabama.
All right. Well, you've sold me. I feel like I need to come to Alabama now.
Well, let us know, and we'll welcome you with open arms. We've got a lot to do here, so come on down.
Terrific. And we will put links to your website and your Facebook page and Twitter feed in our show notes as well, so that our listeners can learn more about you.
Thank you, Kelly. And thank you for engaging in the dialogue that you have with this podcast. I think it's very important. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Hello, everybody. This is Kelly again with Two Broads Talking Politics. And in this segment, I am on with Felicia Stewart. Felicia is running for the Alabama House in District 46. Hello, Felicia.
Good morning.
Or as your hashtag is, I should say, hi, Felicia.
That's right. Stay with my branding. Hi, Felicia.
I love it. Could you tell us a little bit about your background and why you've decided to run for State House?
Well, I am a native Alabamian. I was born and raised in South Alabama in the Mobile-Baldwin County area. Spent some time in Birmingham several years ago, and then we had the opportunity, my wife Christy and I, to live in Dallas for many years and then in Jacksonville, Florida for work. So I have an MBA from SMU in Dallas, and I've been in the business world for the past better part of 20 years in sales and management and marketing. And we got the chance to move back to Alabama a few years ago, and we came back with the commitment to plug in and try to do things to affect change in our state. This is our home and we love it, but there are lots of things that need challenging and lots of things that need changing, and we are excited to be part of that effort.
Could you tell me a little bit about the 46th district? Where in Alabama is that, and what is the region like?
It is made up of suburbs of Birmingham, several in fact. It's gerrymandered in such a way that it picks up several different communities, a tiny bit of Vestavia Hills, but then the majority of Mountain Brook, Alabama, and Homewood, Alabama, and a community called Bluff Park, which is a small part of the Hoover community. So it's an affluent district, one of the most, if not the most affluent district in the state, highly educated. Upwards of 3/4 of the population have college degrees, and another significant percentage have graduate degrees or medical degrees, lawyers, things like that. So we're educated and affluent and generous and family-oriented communities right outside of Birmingham.
And right now there is a Republican holding the seat. Has this district historically been Republican?
It has. We're actually trying to look into that and see the last time it was held by a Democrat, and also to determine the last time it was held by a female. I don't know if it ever has been, but that's not unlike many places in Alabama. And for that matter, even when we determine whether or not a Democrat's held the seat in recent decades, it's, we're one of those states where the Democrats and Republicans sort of flip-flopped in recent decades, late 80s sort of thing, where the traditional blue dog Democrats kind of migrated to the Republican Party. So not unusual that this particular district would have Republican incumbency.
And are you sensing that this could be a change year? Are you feeling on the ground like there is a good chance to flip this seat?
Well, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't feel that in my heart of hearts. So inspirationally, yes, I feel like it can happen, but also analytically. I mean, this time last year when we started considering this as a possibility for my service to my state, we looked at the numbers and we really dove in with people that run campaigns and have done this before. And we know that there is a path to victory. It will take an incredible amount of work and effort and focus, which is why I quit my quote unquote regular job. We're going to have to be all in to accomplish this, but it is possible, and in my mind, it's probable if we do all the right things, and that's what I'm here to do.
And you're running unopposed in the Democratic primary.
Yes, and the incumbent is also running unopposed in his primary, so we're both just focusing hard on November the 6th.
And so you mentioned that there are several issues that need challenging and changing in Alabama. Can you talk about what some of those are?
Sadly, almost everything. Jokes aside, this is a wonderful place. And I think the population as a whole, and certainly the circles that I'm traveling, we're just feeling a sense of ownership in that this is our state too. And we are Christians too. And we care about meaningful change. And that is relatable to several subjects: education, infrastructure, criminal justice reform, environmental protection. I mean, you name it, we are 44th to 50th in every single category. And I think we're all just collectively fed up. And while all of those issues are important to me, I think the primary issues and the reason that why the needle never gets moved is because we have a crisis of leadership. We have folks who are not truly there for public service. We have people there who are there to either move up the ladder in their own careers or to check boxes in terms of achieving whatever office they want to have ultimately. It's an old buddy system. It's the meetings before the meetings type of system, and it's not transparent. It's not accountable, and it's not focused on the real priorities that I just mentioned. And instead, we get focused on really divisive issues that don't reflect the real needs of Alabamians, like Confederate monument issues and transgender bathrooms, problems that truly do not exist. And we focus an inordinate amount of time and effort and energy, i.e. taxpayer dollars, on those issues just to keep the base enraged. And that's not been effective, and we're tired of being last, and we're taking back our state.
So you mentioned that your district is a little more affluent than other parts of Alabama. What are the issues that people in your district are especially concerned with?
Well, I'm going to speak very generally and broadly because obviously, no matter what district you live in, people have issues and their own individual problems that they're facing. But generally, District 46 doesn't experience some of the same concerns as other parts of the state. But what we do have are leaders and winners and people that drive innovation here. We have, CEOs and business owners and entrepreneurs and physicians and surgeons and teachers and professors. I mean, we really have a terrific population of people here who like to win and who like to lead, and they're just frustrated across the board that essentially outside of football, we don't win and lead in many things in this state. And that's an economic problem. That's not just a reputation problem. That keeps the right kinds of cutting edge businesses from coming here. And not having statewide the type of educated and healthy and engaged workforce that we need keeps these leaders and winners from being able to drive business and drive the economy in ways that they otherwise would be able to. And the lack of focus on those things is an issue for all of District 46.
Are there particular things that you would like to see put in place, particular pieces of legislation that you are hoping to be able to enact?
Well, if I'm starting on what I feel is the most important thing is education. I think education cures a lot of ills. We do have a fantastic program and a real highlight of things that we do well in Alabama is our pre-K program called First Class. And it did get additional funding this legislative session, which I'm excited about, but I would like to see that remain a consistent level funding for that program and increase funding to all of our 4-year-olds and ultimately our 3-year-olds. And if we can start everybody on a level playing field at age 3 and 4 when we know the brain development and the absorption of knowledge is so crucial, that sets us on a path generationally to really change the trajectory of Alabama economically. Then from a healthcare standpoint, again, it goes back to economics for me from my business background. It's not just about the human need and the human right for good quality health care. It's also about creating an engaged and healthy workforce. I mean, people who are sick and people who have to drive 3 counties over to get effective health care are not showing up at work reliably, and they're not performing while they're there to the extent that they could. So education and healthcare, I think, are the 2 issues that we have to face most quickly, and then followed by a host of other things that could build jobs for us, like the infrastructure package.
I have to ask, you are a lesbian running for office in Alabama.
I am.
Have you faced any problems or challenges because of that? Is your constituency mostly welcoming of that?
I think the latter, honestly, and I don't mean to be too Pollyanna about that because there are clearly places in this state where just being gay is still a risk to people's lives and certainly their livelihoods. I am very fortunate that I'm able to live in a community and a district like I have where I do not experience those threats and those issues. And frankly, I think people who choose not to vote for me will choose not to vote for me because either I'm a Democrat or I'm not connected in ways that maybe the incumbent is. There's that hard 30 or 35% that won't even look at me because I'm a Democrat, period. And I think it's significantly more to do with that I might lose votes than the fact that I'm a lesbian. For the most part, I don't think the folks in District 46, even the ones who are on the other side of the aisle, are concerned about those issues. They're more fiscally conservative and business oriented, and they're not really as caught up on those issues. It's important, though, that we continue to have a voice. We only one openly gay legislator in Alabama, Patricia Todd, who has done a great job for 12 years, and she is not seeking re-election. So it's important that we maintain a voice in the House, and certainly I hope to be able to accomplish that for this particular group.
You are also the mother of twin girls. Can you talk about running for office while also being a mother?
Well, it's like any job and being a mother. You have the, stereotypical concerns of, am I away too much? Am I present when I'm here? This is right now, it is the height of campaign season, and we have events nearly every day. And if it's not an event, there are meetings and conference calls and campaign-related activities that are required. And it's exciting, and I'm pumped up, and my girls are pumped up, and they feel very proud, I can tell. And it reminds me why I'm doing this is for them. But it's certainly, you struggle and you feel torn about the time that it takes. But for me, I feel like the outcome and the goal